What I tell my colleagues always is, put yourselves in the shoe of a traveler. If you tomorrow would go to Kazakhstan, you don't speak the language, you don't know how to get a taxi, how to buy something, they have different money, etc. You feel very uncomfortable. Agree? Well, then think of being Chinese, coming to Europe. They have different food. You don't understand the clue of the language. The society is different. How would they feel? They want to have a warm welcome. Can we offer them that? Are we really interested in what their needs are? Are we just seeing them as another foreign visitor? And that can make the difference between feeling welcome and just being a tourist. In Amsterdam, we try to train our staff in this habit and to organize it in some way by at least speaking several languages, but on the other hand, of knowing what the question behind it, the real problem behind the question is in serving the visitors. If somebody says, do you know where the tram stop is? I can say, well, I showed the client the tram stop. I can also say, well, where do you want to go? Is the tram the best way? Can I help you with that? And just to give another example, I was in Warsaw, in Poland, and I was standing there just looking on the map, and somebody came to me and said, well, can I help you? Because apparently you're trying to find something. That is hostmanship. That is what we should do, helping the visitor in what he really needs. And that's the thing I think we don't know, we're not interested maybe enough. We don't give time to go in depth in how do Chinese act? What do they expect? What is important in their society? Can we be as blunt as we Dutch are? Or should we act more according to their expectations? And knowing in China that losing your face is the worst what could happen to you, you should be very careful in order to be, not to be impolite to Chinese visitors. Knowing that Chinese only trust people in his surroundings and not trusting anybody he doesn't know means that we should approach them differently. And knowing that avoiding disagreement, which has to do with the Confucianism, the balance in your life, knowing that any disagreement is something you shouldn't do, means that I cannot say no to somebody because that's a disagreement and it's very offensive. Well, these are things we might 200 years ago have in our culture and we lost them. They still have them. And it's very good if you want to encounter visitors that you know how they think and what our expectations are. Managing expectations is written in a lot of books, but what it is really, you can only experience in daily life. In China, there is a huge interest. They know more about Europe than we know about China. And they have a lot of interest in technology, in new developments. They have a different, more elaborated interest in how the society works, how we invent things, etc. And this means that an ordinary tourist is not going for leisure to Europe. If he's going for leisure, he stays in China. A Chinese tourist is going for knowledge and education and what he can learn here in a different society and what he or she can take home. And that means that an ordinary, what seems an ordinary or just a leisure visitor, could be a CEO, could be somebody with influence in China, bringing back ideas about your country, being an ambassador for your destination. And what we see is that if you just count a couple of bad nights the Chinese bring, we would stop tomorrow in encountering the Chinese market. But knowing that we had 100% growth in new Chinese investors, new Chinese settlements in the city, we know that we're continuing using tourism and tourism promotion as a way of communicating for different fields of the industry. If one wants to negotiate with the world, wants to have a position on a global level, one should be open to the world. The slogan for Copenhagen is Copenhagen open. I think Denmark should have an open idea about the world. And that means that your interest should not be only in your own population, your interest should be in the world population. What do they need? How do they act? And do I want to be part of it? It still is a decision you can make. But if you want to be part of the global economy, if you want to be part of the global population, have a listening ear. react to it in the way, what do they need? What can I give? And that will open up your mind, but also open up possibilities.